Welcome to The Explainer. We're going to break down the financial markets performance for the third quarter of 2025 and really get to the story behind the numbers.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a number that's, well, it's pretty hard to ignore. 970 billion rupees, that's the total value of all the shares traded in just 3 months. Now, that's a massive figure, but what does it actually tell us? Is the market booming, or is this just business as usual?
To figure that out, we need some context. A single number doesn't mean a whole lot without something to compare it to. So let's put this quarter into perspective.
Okay, now this is where the story really starts to take shape. If you look at last quarter, yeah, turnover is up a little bit, which is always good to see. But look at the difference from last year. Turnover has absolutely exploded. We're talking more than 7 times, from 130 billion up to 970 billion. And the number of trades, it's skyrocketed too. This isn't just simple growth. This is a whole different level of market activity.
So when you see a surge like that, the next question is pretty obvious. Who is behind all this buying and selling? And let me tell you, the answer reveals a really fascinating split in what investors were thinking.
So when we look at who was actually buying stocks, this chart tells a very clear story. Local players, and that's both regular people and companies, they were the absolute lifeblood of the market. They made up, a combined 94% of all the purchases? And foreign investment, it was just a tiny piece of the pie in comparison. The confidence, without a doubt, was coming from right here at home.
And this, right here, is where the story gets really compelling. It wasn't just that local folks were active, it's that one specific group was actually pushing the market up. Local individuals were net buyers. They bought 5.5 billion rupees more than they sold. At the exact same time, both foreign investors and local companies were net sellers. They were cashing out. So think about what that means. Pretty much all of the positive momentum this quarter was fueled by the optimism of everyday retail investors.
Okay, so if retail investors were the ones doing all the buying, what were they buying? Let's drill down a bit and see exactly where all this confident money was going. And wow, the money was flowing into sectors that just scream growth. Telecommunications absolutely led the pack, with a staggering 87% gain. I mean, it nearly doubled in value in just 1 quarter. Real estate and consumer durables saw huge jumps too. This was not cautious, hesitant investing. No, this was a big bet on future expansion and people spending money.
And this is just a perfect illustration of how a rising tide doesn't necessarily lift all boats. Just look at Lanka IOC in the energy sector. The sector itself grew by a pretty decent 14.8%, right? But the stock itself more than doubled with a nearly 110% gain. On the flip side, you've got Richard Pearce in capital goods. It actually lost value, dropping almost 8%, even while its sector was up 8%. It's just a powerful reminder that individual companies can have totally different stories than their industry.
So we've looked at the what, the who, and the where. So what's the one crucial thing, the big story that we should take away from this whirlwind of a quarter?
It really all comes down to this. The market's incredible year-over-year growth was basically carried on the shoulders of local, individual investors. Their bullish sentiment was the engine, even as the bigger institutional money and foreign funds decided to sell or just stay on the sidelines. It was a classic story of Main Street going one way, while the big players went another.
And that leaves us with a real cliffhanger, doesn't it? We've got 2 completely different stories playing out in the market. The final quarter is going to tell us which one of these narratives wins out. Will the institutions start chasing this rally, or was their caution a warning sign of turbulence to come? We'll definitely be watching closely. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.